And of course, thank you to Southern Yacht Club and the happy band of people who put all this together. I think of Lee Connie in particular. Very pleased and proud to be on the same page as the other 8. The only one I didn't know personally was John Cox Stevens, who preceded maybe just a little bit. Just on leaving to visit New Orleans, my kid sister in Ottawa sent me a short email saying, don't forget to tell them who our first relative was to visit New Orleans. And my first relative was a guy named Admiral Alexander Cochrane. And some of you who are historians in this area will know that he's the guy who came up the Mississippi on January the 5th, 1815, leading all the British forces in the Battle of New Orleans. This guy was a direct grandfather of mine, 4 times great-great-great-grandmother on my mother's side, and he's the same guy who a couple of years earlier fired the bombs bursting in air at Fort McHenry. And in both times he really didn't get the job done. I think that was where the great Henny, what the hell was his name? Henny Youngman, the great comedian, I think used Admiral Cochrane as an example when he came up with his, what I think was his best quote, and that was, I'm going to remember. He said, I don't know what it is that made him so stupid, but it sure did work. I'm not going to keep you very long, certainly, and I don't want to talk about the laser or the Olympics, but rather the reason why we're all really here, and that is the overall long-term commitment and enjoyment to the sport of sailing. What other sport has as many facets as ours? The One Design racing, which nearly all of us have been involved in most of our lives. The racing of handicap classes, and perhaps the cruising, enjoyable cruising in the same type of boats, or in perhaps stronger and slower boats that are just as much fun when you're cruising. And how about those guys that we're hearing so much of, blasting through the water on their sailboards, either holding on to the boom, the wishbone boom, or perhaps holding onto the line that's controlling the sails way the hell up there. I don't know how they do that, why they don't get all tangled up. And then we have those who go roaring around the world. There's one of them here who did it in 40 days, non-stop, of course. That's Stan Honey. He was a navigator who got them home. And then you've got the others who amble around the world in 3 years and have a great time visiting other nations. And people who just cross the ocean for the hell of it, with a crew or without a crew, and cruising the coasts of the various continents, and the East Coast being a very popular cruising ground for many of us. And of course we have the liveaboards, who are laid back and happy, and we have the team racers and the match races who are certainly not laid back, and only half of them are ever happy. So no other sport can engage so many interests, such a broad range of intellects and aims. Whether we made the choice ourselves or our parents forced us into it doesn't really matter too much. I was on board my father's boat at the age of 6 months, and crewing with him at the age of 6 years in racing. But I think what we must keep in mind is that our sport, the thing that we nearly all do, is the surest, or rather the purest, the most challenging, the least harmful, the most restful pastime that there is. So my closing remark is keep on sailing as long as you can. It's real good for you.